The Portfolio for Transformation and Student Success is dedicated to promoting inclusivity and supporting student achievement at the University of Pretoria. It also focuses on initiatives that foster diversity, equity, and inclusion within the university community. In the first leg of the SRC debate that we just had a bit earlier, which you can catch on our YouTube channel, we had a bit of a debate as well with regards to this portfolio. And now in the second leg, we have two more of our candidates for this portfolio, all vying for your vote in this election, or this SRC election that is set to kick off tomorrow, the 20th of August 2025. Good morning, I'm your host Tsukuvatsa Makola, and welcome to the SRC election debate for the Portfolio Transformation and Student Success, powered by the Elections Management and Consulting Agency of Africa. Allow me to introduce our two candidates for this portfolio. Furthest from myself, we have Paddy Mawela, and next to him we have Andile Mate. Thank you so much for taking time to join us for this debate. A few ground rules before we begin, just to ensure that you're comfortable at all times. Please ensure that you are respectful throughout the debate, as no discrimination of any kind will be tolerated throughout this debate. A question will be asked to each and every one of you, and you will have an opportunity to respond on, what's been said within this question, and then your fellow candidate will then have an opportunity to respond to what you've said and possibly add their input as well. For time reasons, please try to keep your arguments as short as possible, and let's try our best not to interrupt each other while talking, as we'll all have an opportunity to speak. Most importantly, let's try and have fun. Let's try and keep it respectful as well. Seems pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah.
Let's get started. I think I'm going to start with Andile. The first question I have for you is, students often go through a lot here at the University of Pretoria. Some of them are subject to discrimination, not just from their peers, but from staff at the university as well. How would you ensure that students feel comfortable coming to talk to you, given that you yourself are a student?
I actually mentioned something like that in my portfolio. And I think before allowing them to come to me, I need proper training for that, because remember, some people have psychological problems, they've got emotional problems, and I'm not well trained for that. But as much as I'm not well trained for it, I am one that can lend an ear. That's why, if you notice carefully, even with the portfolios that we're going for, and once you're in SRC or anything like that, they publish your details and they put them in the public so that people can reach out to me. So my phone numbers are available, my email is available, and I feel like it is something that is really, really helpful, I guess, because obviously in this life, in this day and age, mentors are not enough, because sometimes mentors are not there to deal with our emotional stress, our emotional baggage, our mental health. And that's why I was also speaking that we need to raise awareness of these units that are providing these services. For example, the student counseling unit, these people are always there and they're always empty. It's not because they're not doing their work, it's just because they're not raised, basically. They're not known on campus. So I think what I would also have to do there is then collaborate with the MMC in raising their awareness, in ensuring that these people are well known and students are able to reach out to them. If not, I'm always available.
Now, Paddy, you've just heard what Andile has had to say in terms of how, she would ensure that students actually are comfortable coming to speak to her with regards to some of the discrimination that they may be facing on campus. What are some of the solutions that you're posing? Do you think that the solutions that have been suggested by Andile are sufficient enough? Do you think that they'll address the problem? And do you think students will then be able to approach you as an officer within this portfolio?
One of my questions to what you have just mentioned right now actually is that how would you as an individual be able to be available for those students? Because I believe it's a matter of collaboration. You don't really need to just be there for students to reach out to you alone. Some students are not well confident to reach out to people in office for different reasons. So how could you make it very easy for students to be able to approach you, and so that you can address those type of issues?
Andile, would you like to respond?
Oh, yes, please. So the first thing is that as much as you're saying it's not we're too busy. I don't know if you said that, but then how can they reach me directly? I feel like with us having busy schedules and all, firstly, it's a matter of sacrifice, you know, because if you prioritize students, you will be there for students. Now, each and every society, each and every executive committee member, or each and every committee rather, they have what we call a transformation officer there. And these are the first people they should reach out to. Shall they be a failure to do so, they can come to me, as I said, because now, here's the thing, we can't say now these people are there. We can't create these portfolios and these offices for people if they're not going to be used, if they're not going to work. Then why should we have them there? Exactly.
I'd like to pose a question to Paddy. You know, a big issue that we currently have on campus is the fact that the Transformation Office is considered to be overworked. They have a huge influx of cases and so few people that work within that department. How will you ease that load off of them if you were an officer within this portfolio?
I think that speaks to workload. Yeah, so I believe that that will be resolved through collaboration with different people of serving in different offices and portfolios, because this office actually like interrelates with other portfolios and offices. So our work has to be like actually reduced so that those people don't have like too much work to do, while also like maintaining their objectives and making sure that they can also deliver. So I believe collaborating closely with the marketing also is one of the things that has to be done, and also trying to collaborate with also different societies, because transformation doesn't have to come from one office. It has to be like shared across like all societies that are involved and different offices. So we have to ensure that we collaborate with the students, we collaborate with different societies, we also collaborate with different portfolio holders, so that we can ensure that the work is actually being done and transformation is actually lived and shared.
Now, Andila, I see something has prompted your response based on what Paddy has just said.
Yes, real. So I don't know if you've noticed, there is very little employability of graduates here at UP. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, if you look at the student counseling unit, they already have students working there. We can also create job opportunities for students to work there as well. Why are we limiting ourselves? If they need the help, they can employ people here. I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to end youth unemployment, right? Then let's employ people, let's employ the youth to work there.
And it's strange that you've mentioned this issue of youth unemployment. Specifically, graduate unemployment is another big issue that we have within South Africa. What's another, mechanism that you plan to introduce within your portfolio, considering that you'll be the officer for transformation and student success? Often that student success part is what's neglected within this portfolio. How do you plan to address that?
Oh, that is a very deep one. But I think after thinking about it carefully, because when I look at things, I've got a friend that graduated last year, and sadly he is sitting at home now with his degree. What I would do then is that we always have these career fairs where people just come here and do that. Can we rather collaborate with these companies? So when they need people, for example, can they come here and be like, okay, today we're recruiting 20 people, today we're recruiting 50 people. There's an executive committee here at EMS Faculty House, Gomerki. They had a career fair similar to that, and SARS was here recruiting people. SARS asked for people to submit their CVs, and that was very effective. So whenever we have career fairs, before we even decide to allow these people on campus, what value are they bringing? Because bringing freebies is not going to bring employability or employment to our students. We need something tangible that's going to help them after here. Yeah.
Paddy, I see you nodding quite a bit based on what Andile has just said. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think I'll just add on to actually mention my points on that, like the issue of employability. So I believe it would be very strategic for us to reinforce and energize certain initiatives such as tax innovation and the what do they call, hustle up program, which is being offered by career services. These platforms, I feel like students are not well familiar with them, and these platforms are very important to reinforce entrepreneurship and innovation within the university, because we are here to actually make sure that we transform into professionals, and so with these initiatives being focused on we will be able to offer those fundings to small ideas of business and creativity and innovation. So we have to promote these platforms so that people can be aware of them, and also promote accessibility so that small businesses of ideas of students can be funded and training can be offered, and also that they can be also marketed through means of advertisements, so that they can also like try and decrease this thing of unemployment, graduate unemployment. And also we have to create work integrated learning for other faculties, and because like it's not offered on all faculties. Some of us have to find ways to like train ourselves for the job environment. So we also have to have like career mentorship, because mentorship is not about academics only. So we have to have like people that we link with who are already in the professional areas that we look to navigate, so that we can have like the opportunities and know what it takes of us to be able to like get employed, so that we can like try and mitigate that gap of graduate unemployment. I don't know if that makes sense.
I see Andile has something to say with regards to what you've just said as one of the solutions to address graduate unemployment, specifically here at the University of Pretoria. Andile?
Real. You spoke about funding student businesses and funding student ideas. Now, I feel like that is one difficult challenge for us, because we go to an institution that is moneyed. However, we're unsure if they are willing to fund those student ideas and businesses. I mean, look at the SRC themselves. They have had a lot of initiatives that they've tried sending to the management, and they failed funding them. So now, how then will you ensure that these businesses and these ideas are funded? Because already we can't even fund our students ourselves. Students lack food here. There's student hunger. There is people that do not have funding. Take for me, I'm self-funded right now. Then how will you make sure that our needs are catered for as well?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I believe that it's very important to address, because funding is a big issue currently. So we have donors in the university, and we have trade partners. We have different stakeholders who are involved in the university. So we have to raise funds, and we have to make sure that we get the proper fundings from those donors and trade partners and those stakeholders for us to be able to fund this type of initiatives. And also we do have the funding available from like Tax Innovation and Hustle Up UP. Hustle Up, from Career Services. So these type of programs, yes, they need like more funding, even though they are still they are already like allocating funding. So we can raise those funds from like different donors, like I've mentioned, and trade partners, because we trade with different companies here, and we have to make sure that those companies give back to the students, not only benefiting the university alone. So we have to make sure that these companies delivering different types of goods and services into the university can also contribute to funding like enterprises within the university. And we have different donors. I've seen, yesterday when I was in this UP shop, there are different types of donors like mentioned on the wall. So we have to make sure that you don't just write their names there. They have to like benefit the students, and we will raise these funds for the students' enterprises to be implemented. Thank you.
Now, just a quick question. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but then student leaders do not have access to the donors of the institution. They are not given or allowed the access then. So why don't you rather, or why don't we rather create this initiative, Yoguti, because we have businesses that we're supporting here locally, they should each then give out 10% of their profits per month so that we fund these ideas. Because I know for sure now there's this food franchise in my place. How about we go there and we're like, because we know that students are supporting you, then we need 10% from you to ensure the safety and the success of these students. Don't you think that's a great initiative?
I'm going to let you close off that thought before we get into the issue of mental health for students. But Paddy?
Okay, thank you for the question. I think I very much understand it. As you have already mentioned, student leaders don't have access to certain donors, and they would also have to, us approaching those local businesses around, they would also like we have to like agree with the university. So I think like the accessibility has to be something that we have to address also with donors, and as like you've mentioned, local businesses have to also contribute, so we can make sure that we access the donors, because we are the ones who are affected, and we are supposed to represent the interests of the students, and without fear and fail. So we'll make sure that we get access to those donors, we get access to these trade partners. If we cannot be allowed access, therefore the university has to come with fundings to our operations, and we have to make sure that we can fund their student businesses. And yeah.
Now, Andile, student success is a big thing here at the University of Pretoria, and that's often impacted negatively by mental health issues that students unfortunately face that are as a result of so many different socioeconomic factors that often affect them, but also pressures that come with the university environment, as well as, academic pressure, financial stress, among other issues that often affect students here at the University of Pretoria. I want to know from you, if you had to be the officer of this portfolio of transformation and student success, how would you champion comprehensive and accessible mental health support services, ensuring that they're culturally sensitive and proactively address the diverse needs of the student population?
I think the first thing that I would do is to create what we call them adjustment programs, in a sense, because I, for one, come from a school where we were in the rural areas. I was taught mathematics and English in Xitsonga, sorry. I was taught physics in Xitsonga. I was taught Afrikaans in Sepedi. So having to come here and adjust, or adapt rather, to the standard of UP, or to the level of, comprehensiveness and the vocabulary of the lecturers, it is really, really insane, and it puts on a lot of pressure for you as a student, because now you feel some type of way, you don't feel welcome, and that also ends up having an effect on your grades. So I think, can we have programs? I want to initiate programs that they help basically students from underprivileged backgrounds to sort of adjust to university life, something that would be like, okay, this is how we navigate university. I'm helping you adjust to the standard. I'm helping you increase the standard, in a sense, so that you are able to adjust and adapt. I was looking at orientation week. Nothing really serious happens there besides actually showing students around campus and all. We can use those days to help students adjust and sort of get into action with the university standards and all of that, because that's something that's very, very huge. And with the mental health of students, it really stresses me nowadays, because there are students that are committing suicide around here. Here in Hatfield, I think 2 weeks ago, there was a student that committed suicide. And what saddens me the most is that the university is quiet about it. Everyone is quiet about it. No one is saying anything. No one is doing anything about that. And that honestly reflects on how students are not okay. It reflects on their mental health. So I think we need to have initiatives, not just on campus, but then the residences as well. Can they have one person or two people that are going to give students counseling, people that are going to be there, that are equipped to help students with their mental health as well?
Now, Paddy, you've just heard what Andile has suggested in terms of some of the solutions to address, some of the mental health challenges that students face on campus. Do you think that these are enough, or do you think that a lot more should be done instead?
Yeah, I think we need the specificity. We need to be specific about what type of initiatives we are speaking about. What exactly are those initiatives? And that is a question I'd like to redirect back to you, because I hear you just mentioning that we should have initiatives, but you don't mention what type of, not actually what type of initiatives, but what initiatives should address those things, since you said we have to have initiatives not only in campus, but also that could be in residences. So I want you to ask what initiatives exactly, and how will those initiatives function?
Oh, okay. So I firstly spoke about having someone there as a counselor, basically, someone that is ready to give people the support, the emotional support that they need. And it's a matter of inclusion as well. With these house committees, we need transformation officers there. These house committees do not have transformation officers, and it's really sad, because I was at an event in one res for Women's Day, and I asked, are trans women allowed here? And they said no. Imagine now being excluded to celebrate your feminism, sorry. You understand me? So I feel like with that, we need people that are just going to give them emotional support, and let it not just end there. let us have transformation officers in our house committees as well to ensure that these people, this is something that is going on, because transformation is not just inviting me to your event. Transformation is you guys changing the level, basically, changing the standard of living, deciding that we want to accommodate students, we are going to live for the students, and we're going to prioritize their success. Yeah.
I want us to, go into the topic of financial and academic exclusion, as this is something that often impacts the mental health of students as well. How would you be able to support students who are going through financial or academic exclusion, who could possibly be at the brink of a mental health issue? I'll start with you, Paddy.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I think you've mentioned that people are experiencing exclusions, and those exclusions can be caused by different reasons, and also that also like maybe defunding, and people who are struggling to fund their own studies. So this thing can arise from like having mental issues that are unaddressed. So we have to acknowledge that mental health is not all about depression. It's not all about social anxiety or those type of things. Mental health is also about like being able to make the right decisions and choices when you have to. So we have to promote these things. We don't just have to have like an office which offers these things. So we have to make sure that we approach the students instead of like trying to just wait for students to come. Some students are not well confident about those things. So I believe that in order to address these type of things, we need to have like programs on recess, maybe camp programs on recess that would be able to raise awareness about mental issues that most students are subject to, and we have to prioritize people like disabled people and homosexual people, people who are feeling marginalized within the university. So that we can ensure that there is no exclusion happening. People can get like mental support, be able to make decisions when they have to, the right decisions, because it's not all about trauma and those type of things. And also to answer the question of financial issues, we have to make sure that jobs are provided to students. So we have to introduce policies, maybe a 30% policy saying that the university staff should include like 30% of the staff to be the graduates and students of the University of Pretoria, to be able to mitigate that thing of not having funds to fund our own studies, and like also like resolve the issue of financial strains.
So, Andile, you've just heard what Paddy has said, prevention is better than cure kind of approach, and also just other mechanisms as well in terms of addressing some of the mental health issues that students face. Do you think that these solutions that have been posed by Paddy are enough, or do you think that we ought to take a different approach to address these issues?
They aren't enough for me. I feel the first thing is the prices of the university themselves. If the registration fee had to decrease, I'm pretty sure there would be more affordability. Some students can't even come to university because of the registration fee itself. If fees had to decrease a bit, then obviously people would have more access to university. They would have less financial stress on them. And with academic exclusions, what I like mostly about the party that I'm affiliated with is that they already provide the support that students need. I don't know, we have people there that have been through academic exclusion, and when you come to them, they will tell you how to navigate and what to do, basically, while giving you the emotional support and the, I guess, mental support that you need, because these people have been through what you're going through, and they just assure you that you're not alone. We will fight for you and we will be there for you. Yeah, but with the financial constraints as well, I feel like trying to prevent it in that approach is just not enough. Let's decrease the fees. Let's raise funds for students. I feel like we need to get to a point where students are allowed to eat for free on campus. Let's start there. Can students be given food for free on campus? If that happens, can we do it? Can we have initiatives to make sure that all students are funded here? Because it is really, really sad to know that if a student is defunded by NSFAS, the university cannot do anything. I mean, the university has reserves that consists of billions and billions. Last week, it was last week or last of last week, when the university released a post that they received 18 million donation, and they did nothing to it. We don't see it benefiting the students. 1 million of that 18 million could have been used to fund students or pay historical debts. Then we'd be somewhere in life. We'd be far away.
Yeah. You know, you're talking about transformation from a perspective of funding. I want us to shift focus in terms of transformation at the university, in terms of like inequality, you know, changes when it comes to the decolonization of education. I mean, these are things of which people can argue have been strides that have been made at the University of Pretoria. You know, how would you ensure, specifically in your portfolio, the tangible and measurable rather initiatives would be introduced to accelerate genuine transformation at the University of Pretoria?
Firstly, let's remove all the statues, because we know all the statues are celebrating people of colonialism. Let's remove the statues. Let's rename buildings. Let us use what module codes. Let us present them in English, because currently my module code for accounting, FRK, it's in Afrikaans. And that, honestly, it hurts me, because when you think about the history of that, it takes us back to the sad history of our country. And for me, it feels like the university is not fully transformed. You know, it feels like we're now taking transformation as a game. You would see, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to be, this way we want to be, but then we're not going there because we can't make simple changes. You know, to ensure that there is genuine transformation, firstly, can we have more women empowerment? Can we have more women in leadership? Because if you've noticed carefully, majority of the leaders here in the University of Pretoria are males. But what I love is that they're including females now. And nowadays, females are being empowered. Can we also not just limit it to males and females? The non-binary people are there. Homosexual people are there. Can we also reach out to them? They should also be able or given the platform to lead as well. Because I can't have a heterosexual person represent me as a homosexual. They do not know what I'm going through. They do not understand what I have to go through every day. They do not understand the emotional baggage and traumas that I face every day on campus. Yeah.
Patty, you've heard what Andile has said, changes in terms of representation, changes in terms of names and statues, and certain changes that Andile has just mentioned in terms of allowing for genuine transformation to take place on campus. Do you think that that is sufficient in order to allow for genuine transformation at the University of Pretoria?
I believe with the issue of statues, as she's mentioned, I believe it doesn't really come with transformation, because here we're talking about student transformation, and when we're looking at the issue of statues, I believe that removing those statues would be inadequate, because we need people who will, like, we actually have to build new statues, you know, of people who have done something for the university. Those statues we see here are of the people who built the university, not people who just want to come in and destroy things, you know. So we have to make sure that we can contribute to what they have contributed, so that we can have our statues there, not just to destroy what is already been built. So I feel like it's not transformation, it's actually destroying certain things. So I believe your question was actually like focused on trying to mitigate historical disadvantages. Yeah, so with mitigating that, I believe the right thing to do is actually to include certain languages within our curriculum, so that we can ensure that people from different backgrounds, people from different languages and cultures can be able to adapt with the university level, because I've realized that there are different complex concepts that we have to unpack in different languages. So I've seen last year when I was attending ALL module, we had the initiative of including indigenous languages for learning that module, and it has helped a lot of people to actually be able to pass, you know. So we need to introduce that into different other modules, so that we can allow success and transformation at an efficient way and level, you know. So and also I believe that we have to include African perspectives more in our curriculums, you know, so so that we can like achieve relevance, you know, into South Africa, because African perspectives will allow us to be relevant about where we are, what we face as Africa, and how we can resolve certain things. So yeah, I believe that's how we can ensure transformation, you know.
Andile, I see you nodding quite a bit, and I saw you disagree with some of the things that Paddy had said. Maybe give us insight in terms of what's going through your mind.
Firstly, I must say I supportingly stand with him with the language policies, you know. Can we have more languages that are being taught here? Because it is said that we can only present education in 2 languages. I mean, this country itself, it recognizes 12 languages. Why only present it in 2? Let's have more vernacular languages being included, more indigenous languages being included. And I also support the cultural inclusion, you know, but it should not be limited just to on campus. Can it be displayed off campus as well? Can we have statues of people that we celebrate as a country? We have Mama Miriam Makeba. They fought for our freedom as a country. We need statues of those people there, out there. I feel like with also cultural inclusion, I also mentioned it in my speech at the Piazza the other day, that with cultural inclusion, it should not just be a matter of adding our languages or adding African concepts into our education, but then they should be celebrated. Can we have our thingy, what do we call them, our holidays, not just holidays, but then our culture holidays and things like that, culture events? Can we celebrate those things? Can we have those things taught as well? Because we need to express how we feel. We need to express who we are. We want to be in a place where you are free of who you are, you want to express who you are, and you're able to do that without any hindrance. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. And Paddy, you seem to be nodding quite a bit. Do you have any closing remarks?
I actually think she's also mentioning the right things. So, yeah, we have to like actually embrace our African identities and actually the diversity, because I've realized that University of Pretoria has been championing diversity so far. Yeah, we have to embrace like different cultures, make sure that we can actually create a common culture within the university, because we come from different backgrounds. So we have to create a common practice, a common way of behavior. We have to like make sure that people from different racial groups, different cultures can easily talk, you know, because I've realized it's very hard to approach somebody from a different culture or somebody from a different identity, you know. So we have to create like those type of programs whereby different cultures can come together and try to create one atmosphere, you know, rather than just like focusing on like African cultures, saying that, okay, we're gonna just display ourselves there. It's not all about displaying, it's about integration and being able to like have one way of perspective and life within the university.
And Andile, your last thoughts?
For me, it's not just about celebrating African concepts only, but then we also have international students in this university. Can they also feel celebrated? Because if we're speaking about transforming the university, then we're not just going to celebrate African traditions and exclude other people. Let's celebrate everyone. Let's create an inclusive place for everyone. And sorry about that. If you notice carefully, in high schools, learning was made available in different languages. Students were allowed to learn different languages and learn in their respective languages. Why can't we do the same in university? If I did isiZulu as a home language in high school, obviously I'm going to know more about isiZulu and know a lot of things in isiZulu, and I'd be able to comprehend more information in isiZulu. And now imagine coming here and having to change that and speak English and trying to comprehend complex things in English. For me, it doesn't really make sense. So yeah, those are my closing remarks. Thank you.
I think you've both given us a lot of insight specifically in terms of what you plan to do within this portfolio. Andile, I'm going to ask you to keep the mic. I'm going to allow you to give your parting shots. You know, the SRC elections officially kick off tomorrow on the 20th of August 2025, and students will be looking to see who they should vote for. Why should students specifically vote for you to be in charge of this portfolio?
Why should they vote for me? I won't speak about the experience I have in student leadership, but I'll speak about the experiences that I've had at the University of Pretoria. I am one student that knows the students' problems. I am facing those problems as well, and I believe that I want to come to a university where everything is transformed. I want to come to a university where your gender, your race, your sexuality, your skin color does not matter. I want to come to a place and a space where I don't have to stress about my financial well-being. I don't have to stress about my financials and my school fees. I want to come to a place where I can't stress about my teacher misgendering me. I want to come to a place basically where I feel celebrated, and when I enter, I'm like, you know what, this is home. That's the reason most students go home and they're comfortable with doing learning online, because they know that they're not at a place where they can call home. I feel like I want to be here and call this my home. Yeah.
And Paddy, over to you. Lastly, just let us know, why should students vote for you in the SRC elections that are set to take place tomorrow?
I'm very joyful to answer that question, because I believe this type of platform is for students to hear from my mind and what I have to say. So I believe students should vote for me, because I don't really like to be heard that much. I want the students to be heard. So I'm looking to create platforms where students can engage, where students can be heard through different types of ways, surveys, creating polls and active decision making, ensuring that students can participate in this transformation we are speaking about. So people should really vote for me if they believe they need that type of representation, where they can get the opportunity to express themselves, actually be able to participate in decision making, and be heard, because that's the type of leadership I bring. I bring active participation, collectivity, inclusivity. I want to make sure that all the students can participate and can be heard. So I feel like this type of platform is not really enough for me. I want platforms where students can speak and for themselves, and where we can record what they say and take the decisions forward. So for me, it's not about the type of leadership of me being there voicing out. It's actually about me being with the students, voicing out what they say and giving them the opportunity for them to actually get to contribute. Thank you.
Paddy and Andile, thank you so much for taking time to join us for this debate. A reminder that they were part of the portfolio for transformation and student success, and they're all vying for your vote when you get to vote tomorrow in the SRC election here at the University of Pretoria.